Have you ever wondered why bread rips like this on day one, but after a few days on the counter, it rips like this? This is due to a process called retrogradation, and it's responsible for a lot of the qualities of breads and gels that we eat every single day. In order to understand retrogradation, we first have to look at gelatinization. And gelatinization is an important first step. Without it, retrogradation can't happen. So we're going to take a quick look at what that is, how it leads up to retrogradation. So starch is stored as an energy source for plants. It's a polymer that's built up of a lot of glucose molecules bonded together. And these strings of glucose molecules together can be made a couple ways. So we've got linear form that's just in one string. It can be, the string can be modified, but mostly it's in this kind of swirly way here, and this is called amylose. And the other way is branched, so not one single way. We've just got lots of branches here, come off the main one, and this form is amylopectin. And these two are what's stored in plants as energy, and they're stored in a starch granule. And a granule is just a group of them all together, which I have kind of made here. They just bundle up together, all stored in one spot, so it's easy for plants to use them when they need them. Inside the starch granule, it looks a little bit like this, and we'll use amylose as an example here. So between neighboring starch strings, we've got these yellow bits here that represent hydrogen bonding between them. So these two are bonded together with hydrogen bonding. These molecules, when they're heated up, water comes in and they start to absorb the water. We'll have these little blue fluffs here as water. And when they heat up, they break these hydrogen bonds, and those bonds are replaced with water molecules. So give everybody here one. And so because these water molecules have come in, they've spread apart these two amylose here. And to account for the extra room that they need, that's why those starch granules, and they absorb water, they start expanding and they get bigger and bigger. And to accommodate for these water molecules that are coming in. So that is gelatinization. So it forms a gel. So all that water coming in and making them super big. So gels, they take in water and get bigger, and that's how they form. When these start to cool down, so we were heating up with gelatinization, right? And now they're going to cool down. And this is when retrogradation starts. These molecules, as they're starting to cool down, get closer and closer together, and they kick out these water molecules. Start to reform the hydrogen bonds. There we go. Start to reform the hydrogen bonds between them. And these kicked out waters here, they seep out of the gel. Since they're being kicked out, that gel, as it starts to break down, is kicking all those water out. So that's why you might see some water sitting on top of the sauce that you made, that thickened up sauce that you made, or this is also the process that causes bread to get stale. Because as soon as it starts sitting on the counter, as soon as you take it out of the oven, this process is what's starting. Bread is cooling down, it's kicking the water out, and the bread starts to stale immediately. The results of this are not usually noticeable until a couple days later, but this is what's happening. It's kicking the water out. Of course, bread can be reheated in the microwave. And saying, well, I can get it soft again. Well, why is that? As well, because as it heats up, again, we kick out those hydrogen bonding between them. They start to put these waters back in here, and voila, you've got some re-soft bread, I guess. So there's another cool tidbit that might be interesting to know about retrogradation as a process, because some things they do soften up not at the same rate, or they might get stale a little bit differently than other items. And the reason for this is because I used amylase as an example on that last bit, but these are pretty line-upable. I can do this and they line up pretty good. So the hydrogen bonding that happens can happen pretty much anywhere around there. So foods that have a lot more amylose in them, they retrograde more. If you look at amylopectin, they don't really line up all that nicely. I mean, there's not really a ton of ways you can nicely line them up. So there's less hydrogen bonding and they retrograde less.